Family. Yo. Family, it's cold, it's wet outside. But I'm outside, family. I've got to keep myself up. Because if it in this here Babylon right now, family, you got to keep yourself up, fam. You got to keep the upful vibes. It's raining, it's cold, it's the winter time, family. New Year's past, the celebration's over, the flipping stomachs are out, the bills are coming back in, everyone's getting back to work, family. And that rhythm, this always happens. Every single holiday season, family, you get almost like a break from reality, or the reality that's been set upon you. And when we participate in these holidays, it's a moment of freedom, it's a moment of expression. But right afterwards, family, the reality kicks back in again and shit starts to hit the fan. You get what I'm saying? And so this live right now, family, is for all the people who's sick and tired of the rat racing, family. We live in a world, we're like, what? 3 years deep. It's more than that, really. But let's say we're 3 years deep into a world, family, that's actually primed and ready for our creation. We're 3 years deep. Again, that's being conservative for a world that's primed and ready for our creation, family. And there's some things that I've tried and tested over the last few years that's dramatically shifted my experience of life. Financially, from a spiritual perspective, from the way I relate with the world around me, family. And I ain't mastered it, right? There's certain things I'm still learning. I'm in a learning process every day, but I really, more than anything else, family, I want my family to get in the game. Because what I've seen now is an opportunity for us to really build a life around that thing that is beaming in your heart. Now is the time. And I don't know how long it's going to be like this for. So I'm doing this. Remember, when I do my lives, family, I'm ringing the alarm bells for myself. And as I do it for myself, I'm more opening up the portal for others to do it along with me. Because you can jog alone, family. And if you got the will to jog alone, that's the best start. But when you got running partners, when you got thinking partners, family, when you got people who are getting in the game with you, then what happens? You play the game for longer. Everyone knows when they go to the park with their ball, all enthusiastic, and there's no one in the park. Yeah, you might play ball a little bit. You might shoot just for the training of it. You might get it in, but there's nothing like being outside in the park, getting in the game with other people. So I'm ringing the alarm, family, because I'm saying to you, I'm going in. I'm not having it. If I went in before, cool, but now I'm not having it, family. We're building families right now. Do you get what I'm saying? It is real right now, and the world is getting much more heavier. And when you study spiritual law, family, the spiritual game is this. The more heavier the spiritual challenge. Let me get that good lighting. Oh, this is even better. Spiritual law says this, family. The more heavier the spiritual challenge is, the more spiritual power and wisdom you acquire when you push back. It's to say it's no different from being in the gym. Some of us like being in the gym, family, because that resistance, when you add that weight, yes? Even if you just push it here, yeah, you don't even need to fully flex. Even if you just push back a little bit on that weight, family, the muscle growth is serious, family. So in the same way, spiritually, it works exactly the same way. Because why? The body is also a part of the spiritual law, the spiritual game. So that's one aspect of the body. So, family, shit is getting heavy. Shit is getting real. You get what I'm saying? Outside, not only with our economic state, what's going on in the world, the things that we're exposed to, what we're finding out about, the kind of things people are doing behind the scenes to us and against us. Shit is getting heavy, family. And I don't know about your Christmas, yeah? But my shit weren't all peachy and rosy. You see? Christmas time and this last season has been an expose of people's shadows, of people's dark secrets, of people's inhibitions, people's fears are coming out full force and right in front, family. You know, and I've had to do a lot of mediating, a lot of meditating, a lot of grounding, a lot of reasoning and holding space this Christmas. Do you get what I'm saying, family? So my point is here, family, is that when you're seeing these things, the natural thing to do, or the nurtured thing to do, I want to get away from saying natural. The nurtured thing to do, family, is to run, is to retreat, is to close yourself in. And I'm saying, family, within our nature, which we've been taught against, we must open up. We got to open up even more. And I'm saying to you now, family, like, this shit is not even a Walt Disney dream no more. This is real. What you're looking, the device you're looking at me from will change your life. The device you're watching me from is a spiritual tool, family. It's a spiritual tool. And it's a gift that's been given to us in this time to help us play the spiritual game. It is not against you. It is for you. If you know how to use it and know what you're looking at, family. And I can attest to that because this device has changed my world from a spiritual perspective. Why? Because I make it follow me. I don't fall into it. And so this is the game that I'm calling everyone to play right now, family. When you hear me say get in the spiritual game, family, I really want as many people as possible to focus on their spiritual game at hand, family. Yes? I want as many people as possible to focus on the spiritual game at hand. Every single one of us make up the body, the physical body that we call God, Mungu, Allah, Tiku, Olodumare, Yahweh, Jah, Rastafari. We make up the physical body, family. And how you play your spiritual game is your contribution to the wealth of all. Does that make sense? Think about your favorite artist, or your favorite motivational speaker, or your favorite teacher, or your favorite fashion designer, or your favorite botanist, or your favorite chef. Think about that person. Imagine that person said, I'm not going to step into the realm of the heart. I'm not going to follow my heart. Let's speak about me. Where would I be if the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, I'm not going to follow my heart? If Marcus Garvey said, I'm not going to follow my heart. If Michael Jackson said, I'm not going to do that. Do you get what I'm saying? If Bob Marley said, I ain't going to do that. If my dad said, I ain't going to do that. You wouldn't be looking at this presentation of a human being you see today. And for many of you who are inspired by what I do, which I appreciate is quite a lot of you, family, you don't even know. You're just reflecting yourself. You're just reflecting your own potential. We need all to stand in our position, in our game, our spiritual game. We need to be able to identify our spiritual game, family. And this season, January 15th, family, I am here to take my people through a process of identifying what their spiritual game is. And then how, using modern technology, yes, these systems, phone, AI, etc., how to use technology, the algorithm, how to use it to assist you in playing your spiritual game. Do you know why I say that? Because the way my mind works, which is probably like a lot of yours, my shit deviates. I get distracted very easily, family. I get distracted very easily. And with so much shit that comes up on my feed, on my timeline, I get overwhelmed with ideas, perspectives, things to research, things to look into, things to do, things to create. I'm overwhelmed to the point I'm almost stunned, right? And the only thing that saves me is understanding what my spiritual game is. Because I have a clear understanding, I've been able to, one, study spiritual law and understand my spiritual game. I've been able to bring my spiritual game into a statement that brings me back, an action, into habits, into rituals, yes, and into daily practices that allow me even when I go like this, to always be answering the spiritual call. And that does a few things. One, that provides me first thing it does is opens me up to the bounty of things that I can do to answer my spiritual game. Because it's no longer one specific thing. It's one game, but the way I can approach my game is from completely different angles. So that allows me to be as expressive as I can be, as you guys see me, right? Right? Secondly, that gives me the opportunity to now have patience with the path that I'm walking. Many of us, all of us, have big dreams. Some of you waking up today and going to that job, and that job is not your dream, but it's sustaining you. And you're committed to that space because it's sustaining you. But inside of you, you're dreaming of the moment, of the time and space where you can follow your heart and touch your dreams. You see? Because I've been able to identify my spiritual game, it allows me to be patient as I create the world around me that allows me to continue my spiritual game in these various ways. So for example, I make music and I don't make money from music, right? I do music for the pure enjoyment, right? But I make money from what my music produces, which is answering my spiritual game. Yes? My music calls people into meditation. Every one of my songs, because of Cesarrojo, is used for meditation. Cesarrojo is the practice that reflects my spiritual game. You see? Music is my natural inclination, meaning it's a tool. It's a gift I've been given as a resource to play my spiritual game. One of the things that I'm going to be working with everyone on this upcoming program is to help you identify that natural gift. And it isn't always going to appear as an artistic gift. You might be good at cussing people out. You might be someone who just talks. You might be someone who just has an abundance of energy. You might be someone who's just able to sit back and observe things. You might be someone who's not afraid of darkness and can stare darkness and death and despair in the face with a certain level of peace. Now, those aren't gifts and qualities that are readily identifiable by people because they don't come in the form of, you know what I'm saying? They don't come in the form of, you know what I'm saying, pop locking and Beyonce voices and artistic renditions on the wall, right? But these are spiritual gifts, resources. Many of us have gifts, that for the most part, other people, mainly in our family setup, have identified as negative traits. You see? Many of us in spiritual law, positive and negative doesn't equal good and bad. Good and bad is determined by how you're playing your spiritual game. Yeah? It's not determined by one particular action. It's how you're playing your spiritual game. You see? So, and how your actions are in alignment with your spiritual game. So one action could be bad for me, but good for you. It might be time for me to be quiet. It might be time for you to speak. And depending on where we are located on the game, that will determine which action is good and bad for us. And this is why, again, it's so important that we don't get caught up in watching other people. Because where they are at in their game, even in this entire lifetime, could be different from yours. It's very likely that if you are on this live right now, which isn't a lot of people, if you are hearing my voice right now, you are being called for a much higher aspect of the spiritual game. Because my voice doesn't really reach people who aren't past a certain threshold in the spiritual game. That's what my music does. My music, right, will reach people in a certain way. But this conversation, even you deciding to click into this live, this is an indication that you have a spiritual calling that is quite high up in the spiritual game. And if it is, then what that means is, fortunately and unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, it means that this world isn't going to be able to provide you with the steps that you need to take to answer that calling. Why? Because we are only just stepping into the experience of a world that can even complement that part of the spiritual journey. Does that make sense? You're someone who doesn't believe in the heebie-jeebie nonsense. You get what I'm saying? You're someone who can't just, follow a particular way because everyone else is doing it. It's very likely that you are an outlier in your own community. And that's why my voice is resonating with you now. Does that make sense? And so everyone is not in the same game. Everyone is in their game in the same universe. We are in the same universe. Like, again, and I want you to, when I say game, I mean this so literally. Donkey Kong, Mario are in the same universe. They ain't in the same game. One is an Italian plumber and one is a monkey with a vendetta for alligators. They are in the same universe, which is called Nintendo. They are not in the same game. Yes, they might cross paths, but ultimately their games are different. And this is what I'm talking about. This is a game. And I'm saying to you, my family, we've entered into a new part of the game where people like us, we've entered into a new part of the game, family, where people like us are being called to step forward and lead, pioneer, innovate the way. You see? And you make up those people. I want to not only show people what spiritual law is and how you can play your spiritual game, but what tools you can use to design your life so that you're always playing your spiritual game. I will tell you, family, right? And I'll say this. I watched, funny enough, there's a comedy skit from Dave Chappelle that actually changed my life, right? Right? Many things have changed my life along the way, but this comedy sketch from Dave Chappelle changed my life in this way. He had a conversation with his dad when he said to his dad, I want to do comedy, right? I want to do comedy. And his dad said to him, and I'm going to paraphrase, his dad said to him, it's very difficult doing comedy. People don't make a lot of money doing comedy. How are you gonna sustain yourself? And he said to his dad, well, you're a teacher. And he said, if I can make as much money as you do doing a job that you hate, doing something I love, then I think I'll be all right. And his dad, from that point on, said, if you keep that attitude, you'll be all right. If you keep that attitude, you're going to go far. His dad could never imagine that his son would go on to make 60 million an hour. But that wasn't the point. The point for Dave Chappelle wasn't to make 60 million for an hour. It was, if I could make as much as my dad does as a school teacher, which is probably minimum wage. This is the 80s now, so they probably weren't earning shit. But if I can do what I love and earn the same amount as I would going to get a regular job, then I'm good. Because if I can dedicate myself, because if I could dedicate myself to something I dislike and earn only money, then surely I can dedicate myself to something I love doing anyway and earn the same amount of money. And this is the step, this is the transitional step that I want to get my people on. Yes? I have been self-employed since I was 21. I'm 35. You get what I'm saying? Right? And it's been a tumultuous adventure of discovering how I can live a sustainable life from expressing my truth and being in my heart. Yes? And that is the attitude I took from watching that skit and many other things when the YouTube boom was going on. I said to myself, that's the attitude I'm going to take. If I can earn what I would earn working in Sainsbury's or working in the hospital, which I used to, if I can earn even that would be like my baseline. This is when I was 20 or odd. Then I will have a good life. And this is what I'm saying. And this is even shifted now. But this is what I want to help people do, family. Yeah? Is that we genuinely, this is before, even 1 year ago, family. 1 year, I've been on this thing for a while. 1 year ago, we didn't have the tools we had. Family. I remember I was typing my transcriptions. If you see any videos from a year ago, I was typing my transcriptions. Big up Kelisha Shante, who used to take all of my lectures, hour-long lectures, and sit in her home and just type out everything I would say so we could put it out in a blog. Yeah? She'd sit there for an hour because she believed in what I do. Yeah? Big up my squad who'd send email one by one to people, family. One by one. So, we're not even in that space anymore. You know what I'm going to do when this live finishes? When this live finishes, family, I'm going to take the link, put it in an app that's going to chop this entire hour up into 10 videos. That 1 hour is going to be chopped into 10 videos, and they're all going to be 30 seconds to 1 minute each, and they're all going to speak on a different topic, ranging from going to Africa, ranging from following your passion, and I ain't going to do nothing. All I'm going to do is plan how I'm going to post it and tweak it a little bit where it doesn't understand my little London patois. You get what I'm saying? You get what I mean? Then, I'm going to take the audio, I'm going to run that in Spotify. You see what I'm saying, family? I'm going to do all of those things. So, the world is moving so rapidly in alignment with what's in our hearts. In alignment with the truth that you want to live, family. Right now, we live in a golden opportunity, family. Where we genuinely, like never before, can live a sustainable life from the heart, family. We genuinely live in that place where we can live in a sustainable life from our heart, based on our truth, based on the love service that's been put into us. You see what I'm saying, family? And my mission, because of what I've been doing for the past 12, 15 years, I've been living that very uphill battle. My mission today, family, is to, one, help you identify that thing that's within your heart that is a energetic resource that is going to provide you with enough consistent energy to live your dreams. You see what I'm saying, family? We don't live in the same world as our parents. We don't even live in the same world as was 2 years ago. Do you get what I'm saying? Right? You know what I'm saying? There's a gentleman who just come next to me, bro. You got what I'm saying? Wisdom, right? You know what I'm saying? And so, Boss, can I ask you a question? What is the one advantage you see that us young people have that you didn't have when you was growing up in terms of work, career, passion, and yeah, and living a life that follows that. What was the one thing you would say? I'm speaking to an elder right now.
I think if anything, it's better now than it was for me.
Yeah?
I think it's more difficult for you.
You think it's more difficult? Oh, this is an even better conversation. What are the difficulties you think that we are facing?
I think you're facing the problem of technology,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is destroying human relations.
Yes.
I think you're facing the problem.
Hold on, can you guys hear him? I'll reiterate if not.
Yeah, that's a good word.
I've expanded my lexicon over the years.
I think you've got that problem, and it's only going to get worse. I think family breakdown.
Woo! This might be therapy for me now. I've got to sit down.
See, I grew up in a world where everybody had a mother and father.
Come on.
And my grandparents lived in the next street, and aunts and uncles lived a couple of streets away. So you had this huge, like a spider's web, to support the family and support the children. So I think that was a huge strength. Amazing. I think also my generation was sent to church when we were children.
Spiritual grounding.
So we had a spiritual grounding and faith and belief. I think we weren't exposed to television and to pornography at all, which I think your generation is very early
Extremely.
on. Yeah, extremely. Yeah. No, I can't think of any way which is better now.
I love that.
You know, I think
I
think your lives are more difficult than mine were. And when I was young, when I was at school, most people left school at 15 and went straight into a job, so they could get married when they were 20.
So was there that they could get married when they were 20?
Well, because they'd been working for 5 years.
Because they left at 15.
Most people overwhelmingly left at 15.
And so they worked for 5 years, get married at 20.
Yeah, they got jobs. You know, there were with the town I was born in, there was a huge railway industry, a huge lace making industry, steel industry, coal mines, all these jobs.
Which those industries are gone now, right?
They're all gone now. They're all gone.
Interesting. So, and that was for your generation. Was that like a new thing, the steel, or like what was that like? Was that like a
no? My generation's parents and grandparents, great grandparents, had all worked on the railway. Both my grandfathers worked on the railways. My uncles worked in the steel works. Another uncle was a carpenter, worked in a huge carpentry firm. Jobs were very easy to come by, and you could earn a living quite early on in life. And that's not true now. It's very difficult now.
This is interesting because we get a lot of stick, actually, for, we give ourselves a lot of stick, and also from our parents. Like when I was your age, I was married, I had my own house, I had 2 cars, but the dynamics of the time isn't the thing that's communicated.
Everything has changed.
Yeah.
And, increasingly women going to work. Well, married women didn't go to work when I was young.
Married women did.
Married women stayed at home.
Did men earn enough to look after them?
A man's wage was enough to keep a family. It's not now. That's one of the consequences of equal pay, is that even if you want to, a man cannot keep a family just on his wage if the wife has to work. And this causes all kinds of problems, in the bringing up of children. So I don't think your generation have it easy.
This is amazing.
You've got more things.
More things.
More things.
Yeah.
You've got your big screen tellies, you've got your mobiles, you've 50 pairs of trainers. a young West Indian I used to be friendly with told me he had 80 pairs of trainers.
80 years, sounds like a West Indian, doesn't it?
I said to him, you're a bloody idiot.
Yeah.
Spending your money on that.
Yeah.
So we didn't have things.
Yeah.
We didn't have loads of clothes, we didn't have all this casual gear like you wear. Didn't have any of that. We didn't really have the youth industry, which
Youth industry?
Well, there's a youth industry around music and clothes and so on, trying to get money out of young people. Well, the young people didn't have any money when I was young, so that industry didn't really exist.
So it's interesting. You say young people didn't have any money, but 20-year-olds are getting married.
They've been working.
Yeah, but that to me, that's a young person.
Yeah, the thing is, you see...
Like what age group... What was considered young back then?
Well, what has happened now is that because parents have got some money, they can give money to their 12-year-olds who spend it on, popular music, mobile phones, technology. See, that didn't exist because people didn't have that much money. They had jobs, and they had job security.
Jobs and job security because it offered pensions and work benefits and stuff like that.
And you knew the job would be there when you were 40 or 50.
Which is like 20 years from when you start, right? So that it gives you a lot to save.
Yeah, that's right. And life was much more secure.
Elder!
Now tell me, I've asked you.
No, I love it. Yeah, go on, talk to me, go on.
Why, it breaks my heart, why do you young black men stab each other? I don't understand.
Why do we stab each other?
Yeah, why do you...
That's a powerful question,
I hear a young black man has been...
Yeah.
Why?
Why do we stab each other? The question is the question. It's the wrong
question.
It's the wrong question. Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's dealing with the final result of something much deeper. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But something that you said about security.
Yeah.
Yeah. That as a young black person, for me, I had great influences in my life. Powerful influences in terms of the men and the family that I have, and I still at one point carried a knife. Do you get what I'm saying? And it wasn't. It was more of a social kind of dynamic, and really, honestly, just to answer your question, where the environments that we exist in terms of our security of self. Is very low.
You mean self-confidence?
Not just self-confidence, self-security. You see, when I got to a certain age, I genuinely didn't feel safe outside.
On the street.
I grew up and experienced violent racism as a child, right?
Really?
Yeah, violent racism as a child. And then when I got to a certain age, the violence I experienced was from other black people. And so my thing was, when I got to 13, or around 15, 14, I didn't feel safe outside anymore. But also, there wasn't much space to see myself. The culture that was constantly pushed in my face wasn't a culture that inspired me to be anything other than insecure. And you mentioned the West Indian who buys lots of trainers. It was very materialistic. It was very dog eat dog. It was very us against them. You mentioned something earlier on. You had community. You had a spider web.
Oh, yeah.
My dad's generation and my uncles, they didn't stab each other. They looked out for each other. Why? Because their parents moved to this country and they had to fight off racist people. Do you get it? So they had to band together. My generation didn't have to necessarily fight off. Well, I did, but majority of black people
do you suffer racism now?
Not in the same way.
No.
Not in the same way. Not in the same way. I suffer the trauma of racism and the remnants of it. I don't suffer racism at all. It's more trauma that I experience in myself. So it's like, I'll look at someone and be like, that's someone who I had to fight when I was younger. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's more like I'm almost, my inner child is waiting for them to bring problems. So I'm kind of always on the edge in that way. But no, not in the same way. Like, I'd have to run home and shit like that. Do you get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, but going back to your point of the question is, I do a lot of, I take young families, I take black families, all of them, back to Africa. Because one of the things, I was born and raised in England, and one of the things that I realized that I didn't know was important about my self-images was being in an environment where I could see a society that reflected me. Mm. So I wasn't limited in my imaginary capacity. I wasn't limited in terms of where I could go and who I could go to understand myself. If one person in the community is damaged, there's a plethora of people that could appeal to my self-image.
Where did you acquire all these words you use?
From reading.
You've got a terrific vocabulary.
Thank you. Why are you shocked?
No, I'm not shocked.
Oh, okay.
I just wondered where you got it all from.
Oh, I mean, I'm a speaker. That's my job.
You really do have a command of words, definitely.
Thank you.
And you should be very pleased about that.
I am very. I appreciate the compliment. Yeah. But it's my role. But does that do what am I? Also, I like being understood. You get what I'm saying? I also like being understood. So it's very important. I get to communicate with different people from different walks of life.
I mean,
so,
I will talk to anybody, and you know, provided they don't stab me or hit me. I mean, I will have a conversation with anyone because I'm fascinated by other people,
and I appreciate this conversation. But yeah,
I've met so many people in here in the mornings. You know, different people from different parts of the world, and we all talk. Oh, it's fantastic. But you really are something.
Yeah?
You really are something, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Mikel.
Miguel. Miguel or Mikel?
Mikel.
Michael, really. The angel.
Exactly.
The angel. The archangel.
The
Michael.
archangel.
The archangel.
Yeah.
God. And this is what you earn your living doing.
Exactly. And now this is what I was just sharing. And you highlighted my point as to a lot of us are running off of old scripts that represent your time. In our head, we're running off of scripts from our parents who could live genuinely a good life from your time. And what I'm trying to get people to understand is the paradigm shift that we live in that is nothing like your time. And while people of your generation can amplify the disadvantages, my job here
is to find the advantages.
Is to find the advantages because we have to live. Do you get what I'm saying?
The advantages, what advantages would you have? I suppose you're going to have a longer life expectancy, that health care is better, or there's more of it. Diet can be more varied than it was, you know. I mean, you can eat shit, of course you can, you know, and ruin your health. But you do have the option of a more varied diet, probably, than I had. More sex, if that's a good thing. There's more of that.
Would you have enjoyed more sex at my age?
Well, when I was young, the sex was under wraps. I mean,
what do you mean under wraps? Like you just had to do like one style.
Well, you were not supposed to have sex till you got married.
Okay, I agree with that.
And you know, the idea of sleeping around, that was not.
Would you have preferred it, or looking back, you're glad it was like?
Well, when you get older, you think, oh dear, why didn't I have more sex?
Real talk. You're like, oh, this.
No, I don't really think that. But sex was very repressed. It was something you didn't really talk about and didn't really do, and you know, it was a very different world. It just never. I mean, you couldn't read about it in a book because books couldn't be published when I was growing up that dealt with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember in 1961, Penguin Books decided to publish a novel called Lady Chatterley's Lover, which was written in the 1920s and then banned.
Yeah.
And it contains big descriptions of sex,
yeah,
very detailed, and four-letter words, well, fuck and cunt and all these words.
Yeah.
Anyway, Penguin decided to publish it, and the government decided to sue Penguin Books for obscenity, publishing an obscene book.
Wow.
And it was a big...
They should claim reparations for this day and age.
A big trial.
Really?
And loads of famous writers and journalists and TV people went on the witness stand and said Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence was a great work of art and therefore should be published. And in the end that won out and the book was published. And my God, that changed everything. The doors then opened and sex became, you know, something people talked about openly, and then the birth control pill came along a few years later.
See, from my perspective and my knowledge and experience, sex and its expression is very limited in this part of the world, and that's why they have to control it, because it represents a power that they don't understand.
What do you mean, in England?
In England and Europe in general, your Eurocentric ideas of sex is very limited in its profound power and ability. Reason why I say that is because... Peace, my bro. The reason why I say that is because when...
Morning.
Rich rising, my brother.
This is a real talker here.
It's a real talker.
Worse than me.
Do you know him?
Of course I do.
Oh, I don't know him. Like, so, yeah. So, Yeah, when I'm in Africa,
Yeah.
and even traveling to Asia, but I'm very well versed in the motherland.
Which bit of Africa?
All of Africa. I live in Kenya, but I've travelled all over. Yeah, but
So what are you doing here? What are you doing?
What am I doing here? Great question, Elder. There's stories for other days. No, but I'm here. I'm from here. Right. I was born and raised here. So, Christmas time, spent time with family, etc. But on the point of sex, their institution around sex and how sex, the order of sex, is still a century ahead of where Europe is in terms of their relationship with it.
How do you mean?
Because they would prepare you for sexual engagement and relations from a cultural and spiritual perspective from the day you're born. And it would be nothing to do, where Europe gets it wrong is they think of sex purely from the biological and physical anatomy. This part meets that part, and it's done. But that only comes into play when you reach a level of adulthood and you need to reproduce. But sex as a curriculum, just like science, has so much more to it, and it's much more expansive, and it's more dealing with the energetic relationship.
And much more dangerous.
It's much more dangerous, but it's much more holistic in terms of the understanding of how we are to use that quality of us, right? Because, for example, just simply, had a woman come in here right now, or a woman walked in here right now, naturally, the energy shifts. We don't need to lie down with her to realize that, or get naked to realize that. The polarities of masculine and feminine are always going to be in existence and are always going to be at play. It's the way of the world. It's the way of life. So sex itself can be observed through farming. Sex itself as a principle can be observed in cultivation, in culture, in technology. You see? And this is the wisdom that exists in Africa. And this is why, for example, you can Google and see images of people in the motherland and in indigenous places all around the world living naked side by side. And you don't get instances of rape or sexual misconduct, but you won't find a society of Europeans living naked.
Well, we don't look as good as you do.
Well, there's that part, right? There's that part. But aside from that,
I always win on that one.
But no, that's just true. But aside from that part, like without getting into that because that's the subjective thing, right? Aside from that, it represents a relationship with nature that exists with indigenous people that doesn't exist here. The reason why you dare not, even in Europe, they covered the legs of pianos, for Christ's sake. In what era?
In the 19th century.
In the 19th century. That's how shook they was of that energy.
I mean, the reason behind that was that they didn't want children born outside of marriage, because if a child was born outside of marriage, somebody had to pay taxes to look after it. So you didn't want children out who couldn't be looked after by mum and dad, So therefore they wanted to hide sex away. And there was the terrible thing of syphilis and gonorrhea. And syphilis could kill you. And there were no antibiotics to deal with syphilis.
But all of that comes from...
I was in on the end of that, you see, that it was very dangerous to have sex because you could catch these diseases.
But what I'm saying is all of that stems from the lack of relationship they have with nature. These diseases come from simple bad hygiene practices. You see, and in conditions of living that make it that breed infestation, breed very disease, mentally, physically, and all sorts. So the measures of controlling these things are absolutely correct, And it makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, in these environments where we're from, and I'm not saying we have our own issues where we're from, but in the issues of sex and family building and all of those things, like 80% of Africa before colonization, and even now, but I'm just being, I'm just being conservative, was polygamous.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
80%. And I only use polygamy just for reference point, but we didn't even call it that. Polygamy was part of marriage. It was like you go school, then you go secondary school. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you graduate secondary school,
You
go.
wouldn't want that for yourself, would you?
Why are you telling me why?
You wouldn't want polygamy, would you?
Why wouldn't I want that?
No, just wondered, would you?
Of course.
It's very expensive to look
It's
up.
expensive, but it's expensive, but it's my nature.
Yeah.
Here's the conversation I have. I'm gonna sit on the floor because I'm comfortable.
Well, sit on the bench.
No. I don't.
Go sit next to
I come outside to not sit
You'll
down.
get piles sitting on the floor.
I won't get anything, trust me. So, but the reason why I don't know one person, in fact, if I look at my entire family, and my brother over here, you might be Jamaican or Ghanaian, yeah? Where you from?
Good guess. Nigerians.
He's Nigerian, yeah?
Of course he's Nigerian.
Look at this black man, he's beautiful right here. Look at that brother right there, yeah? So, the people in our families that are monogamous, for example, are much fewer than the people who are polygamous. Even if the polygynous situations come about through dynamics that are, someone sleeping around, I can name more people in my family who have multiple children with different people and are harmonious than one person with another person. So for me to say, I'm married, I have one wife, and I'm very happy with my wife. Yeah,
Good.
Very happy, and it is good. It is good, but to say that I don't have the capacity or the nature to have more wives is a falsehood, and it's damaging to my even. It's like I liken it to putting sunscreen on my skin or using lotion on my skin that's good for one person and not good for me. What's good for you isn't good for me.
I don't think Ade would want more than one wife,
Don't
would you?
don't tell Ade. His name is Ade. He's supposed to have more than one wife.
You wouldn't.
Look at his face.
You wouldn't want more than one, would you?
You get what I'm saying? Of
You
course,
would.
Of course you would.
Don't you think that's just too much to deal with?
No, so long as I've got the means to look after
Ah,
But that's what I'm saying. Remember I said to you before, right? You see it here. You see, before, Africa deals with initiations. If you're, for example, if you're a man, right, and you don't pass your initiation, and everyone does, you don't get the privileges of initiation. Even if you're 50, if you get to your age and you haven't gone through initiation, they will treat you like a child. There isn't this thing of, you see me, like I failed school, but I still went to college. You get what I'm saying? That is a wrong system. And marriage is the same way. Is you don't go to secondary school because you feel like it. You go secondary school when you finish primary school. You go to college when you finish secondary school. And your advance is based on merit, not based on it's your age now. It's about time. So that's what I'm talking about. It's a system. You see, it's very hard. For example, the system in Africa, we have dowry. Dowry makes it very, very difficult, one, for a man to run away from his family, and also it makes him double think whether he's going to get another wife. Because dowry is like a subscription service. Dowry is like paying Netflix subscription to the family for the rest of your life. You've taken a daughter from a family. You're going to pay us for the woman we've raised. We've raised her to be the best cook. We've sent her to school, to college. We've paid her school fees. We've made sure she's educated, well kept. She hasn't slept around. She's the most virtuous. She's brilliant in maths. She's got all the best. And you want to take this woman from our family. All right. You need to pay us. So the moment a man he gets into a bit of problems with that woman, as you do in marriage, the moment he thinks of, let me leave this woman, he's not going to do it. because even if he leaves her, he still has to pay that family.
You see, in Europe.
So 1 second, that now develops an environment where now you have to go to the family to assist with repairing certain things that happen in a relationship. And like you said earlier, that is what creates the web of interdependence that allows us to have a welfare. Now, if you can't manage that one, then you wouldn't dare not cross the threshold of doing that twice. And men that did and could do that, again, it's the same like men who can develop businesses and corporations and franchises, and people who are very good and skilled in that area. Family in Africa is business. It's not love. Love in Africa is just law, the way of life. We're not treating you one way because, oh, you're part of a family. It's my duty as a citizen to treat you like a human being and to love you. That's why you as a white man could go to Africa and you will feel at home as well. They won't treat you any different. You see, that's law. Family is business. It's not, I fancy this girl, she's got a nice ass, so I'm gonna get with her. That's what we do here, and that's why we have the problems we have. Family is business. What is going to build society? What is going to build community? What is going to create greater strengths, build bigger bonds between us, and actually be better for society? That is how we build family, and family is involved in that decision. Here, your daughter can run off with any person, show up at your house, say, Dad, this is my boyfriend, we're going upstairs to have some fun. And you got to be like, okay. Do you get what I'm saying? Am I lying, bro? That's how it was in at least over here. When I was 17, I was just walking up in girls' house, chilling with their parents and doing what I needed to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't do that in the societies where we come from.
Couldn't do it when I was 17.
You couldn't do it in your days, but now
Yeah, a lot has changed.
a lot has changed. Do you get what I'm saying? So my point is, and going back to the point of, you know, even your first question, why we stab each other, why we see each other, we're in an environment that doesn't reflect our nature. We're in an environment that is not conducive for us as men, who we are, the legacy culture we come from, even the sun. We're only just learning that this environment gives us vitamin D deficiency. My elders didn't know that. My elders used to put flipping perm in their hair that would damage their brain. We're only learning that the way to use shea butter and these natural things that allow us to get the best in treatment for our hair. We had to live our lives like white people. And we're only learning that there's considerably a huge amount of differences between us when it comes to sustaining ourselves physiologically in this environment. So going back to your earlier question and even your last question about polygyny and even us combating each other as young black men, we're not in an environment that is conducive and advantageous to our nature. Simple and plain as that. And you, not you, but the who's who of this society can't even give that to us on their best day. Do you get what I'm saying? Rishi Sunak or whoever's sitting in those kind of places, they can't give us that. We have to give that to ourselves, and we have to put ourselves in a position where we can provide that for our families. Absolutely. And I don't see, for example, I know that my grandchildren will practice polygyny very simply. They're going to run to it.
I bet you're going to have a lot of grandchildren.
I will. I might not even do it. Yeah, but because we're the crossover. My grandchildren will practice polygyny, 100%, and they will be like, thank the Lord that we have this, because the ways in which because I'd much prefer that than this whole thing of, oh, this child's showing up, your dad's sleeping over here, your mum's sleeping over here, this one's got a family for this one, oh, this one's backbiting this one, oh, this person shows up when they're 10 years old and you didn't know you got a sister over here. That's disgusting. I'm like, why don't we just, like, from the beginning, set it up? This is the man's nature, this is the woman's nature, this is what we need, this is our law, we all love each other, we're all family, let's set it up properly. That's going to take a long time. It might take 100 years. So I might not do it. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's going to take a long time.
I might not do it, but my grandchildren will do it. And they'll be better for it.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah, it's really good.
I said I'm good.
You should be on the television,
I should be on the television. Well, I'm live on Instagram right now. You get what I'm saying? You know,
No,
but
you really should. You should use your talent.
thank you.
And I must go.
What's your name?
I'm John.
John.
Yes.
Of course you are.
Of course. I always say to people, an old white man, what's his name going to be? John.
John, yeah.
You know, certain to be.
My name's not Jermaine, unfortunately.
Oh, Jermaine. I know so many Jermaines.
Of course you do.
If I think to myself, God, I can't remember what his name is. Oh, Jermaine will do.
Jermaine will do. Well, John will do. Nice to meet you, John.
And nice to meet you as well. And I do wish you every success with your work.
Thank you.
And you look after
And
yourself.
thank you for talking to me.
Well,
This
no,
has been
It's
beautiful.
been a great pleasure, I can tell you.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm here every day, aren't I?
Are you? Are you here every day as well?
Just about.
That's mad. We might have a whole new squad here, but
There you are, you see.
yeah.
You look after yourself.
Much love, you too.
Yeah. Take care.
Respect. Yes, family. Hey, look, I'm even sitting in the ground talking to a nice one, bro. Yeah. Mikkel, nice to meet you, bro. You get me. Hold on, why did he call you Ade?
That is actually my name.
Oh, is your oh, okay. I was thinking he's Fred.
He didn't even know that though.
He didn't?
He didn't.
What do you mean?
He didn't know my name was Ade.
So he just called you Ade for no reason? Nah, that's not possible. You must have told him sometime. You must have...
Rafa, that's my government.
So why is he throwing Ade on you, bro?
He knows I'm Nigerian. I'll give him that.
He knows you're
He
Nigerian.
knows I'm Yoruba.
He knows you're Yoruba. Yeah, but you could be Ola, bro.
I could have been.
You could be Ola, bro. You could be Abby.
I could have been anything.
Do you get what I'm saying? I just said Ade over there. Big up yourself, my G.
Raphael's the name.
Yeah, respect, my bro. Come on, family. Family, I'm gonna jump off this live right now. This live has been amazing. I'm just doing.
Show them the views. This is
Show
probably the best place to walk.
Yeah? Man said, show them the G.
In terms of parks in South London.
Yeah. Just giving them.
Especially in the summertime.
Yeah. We know. We're in Brixton right now, family.
Don't tell them too much.
No, they know. If you know, you know, innit? If you know, you know. You gotta say it, bro. What do you think about what we was talking about? Now I'm talking to you. I won't show your face, but like, you know what I'm saying? This is a conversation me and him was having. What I was talking to the people about, and my work is, I'm a spiritual health coach. I'm an artist, and really, I've been speaking to my people about playing the spiritual game. We focus a lot on money, and we're running on old money scripts that our families have run on that worked for them. But we live in a different society where today following your heart actually is the best way to make the best of your life. And I'm saying, for me, I've been self-employed for over 10 years, and I do that. You get what I'm saying? I live a rich life. I live a wealthy life. I don't have a lot of money, but I take care of business. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And I get to travel around the world, and most importantly, bro, I have a happiness that is very hard to disturb.
That's
Because I'm rich with culture, community, and I genuinely do what I love. And every piece of money, if I get £5 today, bro, it's because of the heart. If I get 5 bags today, it's because of the heart. So none of it makes me feel like a nonce. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might get money for something, you're like, oh man. Even if it's good money, you're like, shit, I got to do all over again just to get that. You get what I'm saying? And so what I'm trying to share with my people is that we need to get ourselves in a rhythm where we're making a living. The same energy you give to the workspace, if you give that 8 hours a day to something that you actually love, right? You will make not only enough money, but create an energetic field around your life that makes you feel like a conqueror. Does that make sense? Even if you're earning what you earn, if you set your bar, because many, we all want to be millionaires, 6 figures, rare. But even if it's like, you can set your bar on, wow, if I work whatever job you had recently, if, let's say, you might earn maybe, I don't know what the minimum wage is nowadays, £15 an hour, yeah? I don't know what minimum wage is. Let's say it's £15 an hour. But if you're like, right, if I can make, or let's say £88 a day. That's the last job I had. I used to earn £88 a day, something random like that. If that was the bar, it's a much easier goal to reach in this day and age with your passion. Do you get what I'm saying? It's much easier to make £88 a day, yeah, with your passion. And not only that, the days you don't make that, because you're an entrepreneur, so things go up and down. The days you don't make that, the feedback you're gonna get just from doing the thing that you love, just from people walking on the street and knowing you're the guy that does that thing. When I'm at my lowest, bro, I get stopped on the street and say, Mikel, there's something you said that changed my life. Mikel, what you created for me and my children has changed my relationship with my children. Mikel, because of you, I live in Africa. So some days, bro, I ain't got fuck in my pocket. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's just real. Because the expenses are large. Do you get what I'm saying? But the money is very important, bro. Money is hugely important. But I'm saying, what keeps me up? Because I know people that are making millions a year. And they're on the brink of doing a madness to themselves. So I know some people who make £40 like every quarter, bro. Living in mud huts. And they're moving on a different frequency. So I know money, I can't lie and say money's everything. Money's important, but it's not everything. And I've experienced both sides.
I literally said that same
Do you get what I'm saying? I get to experience both sides. I'm comfortable in mansions. You get what I'm saying? I live that life. I can live that life. And I'm comfortable in mud huts. Because the real temple that I'm in is myself. And I'm in the experience of it all. I'm in the game. I like the value of both. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I like driving down Santa Monica Boulevard. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But I like walking down Buffer Road. You know what I'm saying? In Kenya, bro. You know what I'm saying? On the coast and picking fruit from the tree. All of it's there for me to experience. What's the thing in the middle? The thing in the middle is how I feel about myself. Is my self-value. Why do I have self-value? Is the question. What makes it? People know I'm not out here like that. What is Mikel got that I ain't got? I will literally wake up and live my dreams. And I turn on my phone and my dreams are accessible immediately. The brother said I'm a good speaker. I love to speak. I'm a performer. You see me perform, I'm a different human being. I love doing that. And with this device, I'm an artist. I make music, I rap, sing, dance. You get what I'm saying? So, I can do that. I can create. I love to create ideas. Look, you see this clothing? This is me. I created this. So, we live in a world where you can do what you want and people will exchange value. Even if it's not 7-6 figures, it's something that will keep your life in a balance, that will make you feel good and excellent about yourself. And that is the highest regard. That is the most important thing. You get what I'm saying? So family, before my battery dies, I want to share with you January 15th, the spiritual game. I want to share and go head to head with you guys, teaching everyone how to do this. I want to get you on the path to doing this for yourself. I want to not only help you identify the reason why you must do it from the spiritual law perspective, I want to help you use that to help you identify your spiritual game, meaning the things in your life, the things that you can use to create that success, that happiness, health and wealth loop in your life. And then using the tools, modern technology to create your career, your work, your life balance around it, where you can start making money and living your dreams, family. That's it. That's it. That's it. No more rat race. This has been a sick life. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying though, bro? You feel me?
No more rat race.
No more. Why? You see the rat race? I was talking to this gentleman. I don't know how old he is, but he's past 60. You know they don't look like us when they get to them ages. So I don't know how old he is, yeah? But he's definitely past 60. Yeah?
70s, I would imagine.
Yeah, he looks like he's 70s. The rat race worked for them, bro. Man said 15 they was in work. Full-time employment. 20 they was getting married. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. And I'm saying one of the work things that I do is I take people to Africa. Yeah? This year I'm building our own village and community in Africa for the African diaspora. People who want to move back and create industries around the work that we do.
Where exactly? Where in Africa?
Where? Kenya.
Where in Kenya? Kampala?
No, Kampala's Uganda.
Kampala's Uganda.
Yeah, Kampala's
Nairobi?
Uganda's sick though. Nairobi, no. On the coast. So we're going to be in the coast of Kenya. You see? I currently do I run tourism programs all over Kenya. Yeah? I've even done other countries, but my main hub is Kenya. So from Nairobi to the coast to Nakuru to other parts of Kenya. So I do that. But we're going to be setting up a base in the coast of Kenya, specifically centered around spiritual health and wellness. You see, and creating our environment where what that brother was saying, you know, talking about why we do certain things, you know, all the questions I was answering to him about the reasons why, and what you're saying about the fact that we don't even have a great opportunity to sustain our families the way we do. And as men, naturally, we want to take care of our families.
Absolutely.
It's not that we don't want to, women always, in Africa, women work. But men's work is always to do with a particular aspect of building society. And over here, it's like we don't get to be men. Do you get it? They take that away, rob that away from us. And I only learned that from living in Kenya. I was like, oh, the processes that they go through back home to become men, we've been robbed. That level of responsibility, we're like, hey, you come here, and this belongs to you. You have to take care of that. That is what we need to grow spiritually. We don't have that. All that benefits and all of that kind of stuff, it's another way, it keeps us limp. Do you get what I'm saying? Yes, it helps us survive. It keeps us limp in a certain way if you don't have that other grounding. And so, I've got a baby, a lot of children coming up, and the world has changed. We need an environment where we can take charge of our future, where we can create industries around our spiritual needs, industries around our health concerns, institutions around our educational concerns, ones that deals with us specifically, from our mentality to our spirituality to our way of being, to the way we create. Does that make sense? And so this year, I've been taking people back to Africa for the last 5-6 years. But this year, we're building our home. And I don't mean a house. I mean a village. I mean a community where many people can live, and all of us can have a hub where we can feel safe to create in peace. You get what I'm saying? That's the mission, you know. And from now, it's January 2nd, I'm going to take my people who are interested for a process of preparing for that way of life. Because that is it. There is no hope here. There's none. Do you get what I'm saying? There's none. So that is it. Value the spiritual law, which is ma'at. Play your spiritual game, which is the life, the sole purpose you've been given, which comes through your challenges, which comes through your gifts. You put that together and you create a rhythm which becomes your work. You get what I'm saying? Which becomes your business of life. Then you build community based on that. You see? So that final piece is what we're building right now in the motherland. And everyone who wants to go on that journey with me, can do it themselves, but they don't have to. Like, we're doing it as well. But everyone who wants to go on that journey, I'm going to be with them every step of the way, bro. Because I know people are just as tired as I am, bro. You get what I'm saying? With all the energy and vibrancy I got, I wake up cussing sometimes. You get what I'm saying? I wake up cussing because I'm like, nah, I can't have it. It's long. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. That's what it's about. And, yeah, bro. In the game. Family, I'm going to lock off this live. I talked to my brother, but I'm going to save this battery. Click the link in the bio, family. Click spiritual game. Get involved. It's £21. Click the link in the bio, family. And let's connect. Peace in. Love out. Hey.